Okay, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV. This is episode 80, and I'm your host, Marek Mularczyk from saitraining.co.uk. Now, welcome to another week, another great weekly episode about anything Photoshop, Lightroom, and photography. This week, I've got one tutorial in Photoshop and one in Lightroom for you, so you get to enjoy both of the tutorials. I'm going to start with Photoshop, and I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to quickly copy, paste, drag and drop the layer styles, or layer effects as they often called, in Photoshop. And this will apply to any version of Photoshop, and I'll show you the couple of different techniques. So let's jump into Photoshop. I'll be using Photoshop CS6. Here I am inside Photoshop. I'm in Adobe Photoshop CS6, and I'm going to show you a few techniques, two techniques on copying and pasting and sharing the layer styles or layer effects between the layers. So here I have this design that I've created, and on the Buddha layer I've got two layer effects, bevel and emboss and drop shadow, that I've created. It's going to show you both effects. So I've got bevel and emboss with a couple of settings. If you look at the Buddha, you can see how it changes. And I've got a drop shadow here as well. Okay. Now I want to apply the same layer effects, maybe customize them later on, but for now I just want to apply the same layer effects initially with the same settings to the text, to the Zen Garden text in here. I'm just going to zoom in so it will be easier for you to see. So what you can do is you can actually, in the layers panel, right click on one of the layer effects and choose copy layer style. Then you right click on the layer you want to apply it to, and you choose paste layer style. Okay, and because I had two layer styles, I've got two layer styles in here now as well, copied and pasted. But there's even an easier way to do it. So if I'm just going to undo this last step, here's what else you can do. On the layer where you've got the layer style you already created, you can hold down the Alt key on the keyboard and then click on the layer effect name. Holding Alt key down, you drag it onto another layer. So I'm going to drag it onto Zen Garden layer. Notice the FX behind my cursor, and I'll release the mouse button, and here we go, the layer effect. It's faster, but also notice another interesting thing. I've only moved one layer effect, bevel and emboss. Drop shadow didn't move to here, to Zen Garden. So when using the Alt key, you can drag and drop one layer effect at a time. So I'm going to repeat the process for drop shadow. So I'm going to hold the Alt key down, I'll click and drag onto the Zen Garden layer. Okay, because I'm clicking on the name of the effect, I'm dragging just one layer effect at a time using the Alt key, the modifier key in Photoshop. So these are just two techniques on how you can move the layer effects. Another thing I'm going to show you is that you can also do it between the documents. So I'm just going to create a new document. I'm going to make it quite narrow, so I'll make it 800 by 400 pixels, 400. For the background, I'll make that background color for now. I'll just press OK. I'm just going to quickly fill it with a color. So let's just use a color here. Okay, something quite dark. Okay, and I'll quickly type some text here. Okay, I'll make it bigger. Oh, that's probably a bit too big. I'll just center it here. And now back to Zen Garden. I'm going to right click on this text in here, on the layer effects here on the text, and I'm going to copy layer style back to the untitled document the one I just created. I'll just make this text bold. I'll right click on the layer and I'll paste the layer style, and you've got the same layer styles applied to another document. So you can also copy and paste the layer styles between the documents in Photoshop. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Photoshop. I hope you learned something new. If you have anything you want me to cover, just let me know. I'll be happy to create a tutorial for you. Now we've got a second tutorial, and this will be in Lightroom. And I'm going to show you how to synchronize settings inside of Lightroom on an example when using some of the presets or one of the developments inside of Lightroom. And I'll be using Lightroom 4 because that's the latest version of Lightroom, but this will apply to other previous versions of Lightroom as well. So let's jump into Lightroom and let me show you how to develop images and how to synchronize settings, develop settings inside of Lightroom 4. Okay, here I am inside of Lightroom, and here's what I'm going to do in here. I'm going to just develop a couple of images, and then I'm going to show you how to synchronize the settings between these images. First, I'm going to navigate into Develop module, so click on Develop in the module picker on the top of the Lightroom interface. I'm using Lightroom 4, the latest version of Lightroom, and in just a moment Develop module will open. Okay. Now I'm going to start with one of the images, just to start with. So if I just scroll, I'll find some similar images, so maybe starting from here. I've made some adjustments to this image already, and one of the things I wanted to do here was to go to lens correction first and make sure the enable profile corrections is checked. Yeah? If you uncheck it and check it, you can see the difference. The Lightroom removes the distortions, and you can see how it detects your lens profiles. In this case, it detected the Canon 24-105 lens and the Canon, and that's the profile that's being used. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select any number of images. In this case, I'm just going to select maybe, or I've actually got all selected, so I'm just going to go to Edit and then select None. I'm going to select one of these images in here, so this one, let's say, to start with. Okay, now I'm going to highlight a number of images. I'm just going to highlight these 6 as an example in here, so I've got 6 photos selected, and here on the right hand side in the Develop module, I'll click on Sync, and now you can choose what you want to sync. Okay, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check None, and I'll sync just the lens corrections. Okay, but just so you know, you can synchronize anything you want in here. So lens correction will be just fine. I'll click Synchronize, and it's done. Okay, I'm just going to double check. So going to deselect this image. I'll select this one here. Enable profile corrections is checked. Okay, still loading, but it's showing this checked. This one here as well. Okay, and that one here. So they all have the enable profile corrections checked, and it's going to load the lens profile in just a moment when it finishes loading the preview, because it's going to load the lens profile that matches the name of the lens that was used to take this photograph. And that's the quick tip on synchronizing settings between the images in Lightroom. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this second tutorial in Lightroom 4 on synchronizing settings. That's it for this week, for this short episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV, episode 80. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything I can record for you, and I'll be happy to do it, to cover. Remember to visit my blog, PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk, and come and say hello on Google+, Facebook, Twitter or LinkedIn. Thank you for watching. I'm Marek Mularczyk from SAItraining.co.uk, and this was episode 80 of Photoshop Lightroom TV. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.